terms of all the numbers than Sangho. So definitely going to be looking towards that matchup for this one.
Absolutely. So let's get into picks and bans here for Game 1 in our third place match here at the Vainglory International Premier League. And let's see what they're going to lock in. So, I think pQq, go back to basics. Vox, Krull, Adagio, it's a composition that's been working for them. And then I'd be surprised if Invincible Armada, we didn't see the Glaive coming through right here. We haven't seen Koshka in a while, which is what they're hovering right now.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that Koshka pick, especially with Glaive up. I do not think they're going to pick it, to be honest. But let's see. Continuing to hover, we do see Rain trying to decide between Glaive and Krull there.
Could be a big factor. Druid. Now, Druid had a game on Celeste. He's had every game on Vox except for one on Celeste. He didn't do that well. They will lock in the Vox in the end, and it will be Glaive actually coming through here for pQq. So Rain going to be showing a hero that he has not yet played in this competition.
But also a very strong hero at that. Gets banned very, very often. I think it's the most banned hero, in fact, that we do have for this season. So the fact that it is up, it makes sense that he picks it up. I'm sure he's good at Glaive regardless.
And we'll see a Glaive mirror. Swine locks it in. Arden and Vox. And let's get into Game 1 here of the third place match. Welcome to the Halcyon Fold. We're in our last day of competition here at the International Premier League. pQq versus Invincible Armada, fighting for third place in this tournament. And we see two very similar compositions, both using Glaive and Vox, but Arden going to be boxing people in late.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I definitely do like the Adagio pick early on for just straight up trades. Just getting aggressive in that jungle, which is not usually what you see at a pQq, so that's kind of interesting for me. Whereas that Rune picking up the Arden a little bit later on can really line up those wait birds from his Vox and just allow Wine to jump on the targets a little bit easier.
That's right, Wine hitting level 2 there off of the small camp right by the neutral shop. So pQq trying to get aggressive early. And, Valdez, we've talked about this Glaive-Vox combination previously. It really doesn't offer very good siege. But with both teams selecting it here, there's not a lot of poke to be had. Both of those heroes really have to get into the mix, so a lot of this game should be decided by team fighting outside of the lane, one would assume, because it is so difficult to poke people off of turrets and start to take those objectives uncontested.
Very true. No Ringo here was banned, and of course Celeste and Scarf, not heroes that you see often picked up by these two teams. So it kind of does make sense that they do go for this composition.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a close look too at the laning, just because Druid is so good at farming and controlling the wave that if he can get a big farm edge up on Sangho, could be a big factor in this game. And Scout Trap going off there onto Ruin, giving him a little bit of vision around that neutral shop. We do see Invincible Armada just backing off, but, pQq, they have Adagio, Glaive, that's such a powerful burst combination. And Rain going to get caught out a little bit right here, has to back off, getting a little bit low. They're going to come in with that afterburn. Rain just going to get out, and here comes Druid, though, getting some damage done. Wine stunned into the wall, and are they going to keep pursuing as Invincible Armada is split? Sangho coming through, and just a little bit of poke damage on each side. No one willing to commit yet.
Yeah. You can see kind of how pQq operates as a team. Both Maloa and Rain taking a bunch of damage, and then Druid comes in for the cleanup. Even this early on, it's pretty cool to see. Druid kind of taking up the back end of that charge, trying to get those kills.
Yeah, the big difference, though, Druid had a chance to shop at that neutral shop, and Sangho pushed off. So big item advantage so far for Druid, and Sangho has to be careful about his trades in that lane. Taking a look at Sangho right now.
Great under turret farming, actually. Hits every single one of those creeps. Just a small thing to note. In terms of farm so far, Sangho is actually ahead of Druid, something we did not expect.
So early weapon infusion here from Rain compared to Wine. They could be aiming for that fight pretty early here as scout traps will be cleared. A couple of them triggered and taking Ruin for a little bit of damage. Now Songo's waiting in that brush. There's a lot of damage from Rain. Pops that weapon infusion immediately. Will get knocked back. And Rain trying to get out with the afterburn. Maloa running some interference on the backside. Here comes Druid. How much damage can he do? Not quite enough. Ruin already with a couple of O cards, so he's got a lot of extra HP.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. Double O card picked up, whereas Maloa only has the boots and not that much gold. I think he's been spending a lot on flares and scout traps early on in this game, so Rune going to get the slight advantage in terms of builds here.
Yeah, it's so crucial to get that up early because it does your HP increases the barrier that you can give to an ally or yourself, I suppose, on that Vanguard, so it does make for stronger early game skirmishing. Just by stacking that flat HP. So it's like another little bit of a skirmish down here and clearing out of vision by both teams.
It's also good to note that, you know, all these scout traps that Maloa put down earlier on, Invincible Armada was able to clear like 3 or 4 of them without pQq really able to fight, so didn't get the most value out of those scout traps. Not too much damage to come down. I think only Rune got hit by 1 at that point.
See, some quick clearing. They want to push the wave. Ruin there, having to fall back to the turret. Wine on the outside. He's going to have to burn back underneath his turret. So a lot of really conservative play here from both teams. And, you know, you have to think this really does play into pQq's advantage. We know them as this late game powerhouse. And Invincible Armada, they haven't been able to counter jungle. They haven't really been able to make anything of it. And a lot of that is just the power that Adagio and Glaive have together in this early game makes them a bit reluctant. But a nice gold mine attempt here from pQq. They're going to grab it.
Oh boy, no vision around there for Invincible Armada at all. Not a single scout trap.
Well, if you look at how pQq played that, it was very smart. So they came in, cleared 3 or 4 scout traps, came around the other side through the tri-brush to clear out all possible vision, and then fell back to go ahead and take that gold miner. So really nice setup there from pQq, playing the map very well and taking that first major objective.
It's going to be very nice for them. They gain a slight gold advantage here, but more importantly, control over that gold mine. Already putting down a minion candy and going to be looking to get that full gold payout a bit later on.
Rain actually investing in a pretty early light armor here, so really looking to scrap it out with the enemy glaive. He's going to be walking through. He's continuously checking that tri-brush as pQq plays defensively around the center of the map.
Yeah, Rain has actually picked up double weapon infusions as well, whereas Wine has only picked up 1. It does look like Rain has a big advantage. Hold that thought.
Oh, there we go. Knockback from the afterburn. Songo trying to get out, but Druid is there waiting for him, and that's going to be a kill for Rain. Overextending a bit right there, and he is punished for it. Now pQq has their sights set on this first turret.
Yeah, looks like they should be able to get it. This is the problem when you're going up against the glaive. You know, Wine and Ruin, they just took that moment to go back to their back jungle, and it was the wrong time.
All right, Rain gonna take it, but are they gonna pay for it? You can see the damage coming in. Wine punts it forward. They will trade, but that'll be 1 for 1, and a turret going over to pQq, and they're starting to really advance that gold lead now up to about 2,000. Let's take a look at that replay.
Yeah, Druid getting hit back here, gets pretty low. Rain committing to taking down that turret also gets low, but he sets up the kill here onto Wine, which is great. So they do get that turret and just trade 1 for 1, pushing back Ruin as well, getting him very low.
All right, so the piercing spear is starting to come through for our glaives. Let's see about that tension bow and who's going to pick it up first. That will be a big power spike for both of these teams, and if Wine or Rain can pick up that item before the other, should provide a nice advantage.
Also note that Druid going for a weapon infusion here. We see this a lot of times on Vox, as early on that cooldown acceleration and extra crystal power is not going to be too effective compared to that weapon.
Well, once you get the resonance off too, your autos bouncing around, really, it does magnify the damage that much more, considering you can hit more than one target with your auto attacks. So it does make a big difference. And we see pQq lurking, waiting to see if Songo's going to come through. Ruin there.
Flare coming down, they do get spotted.
Oh, nice bridge in the background. I too appreciate the vistas of the fold.
It's awesome, you know, just to mention, as we do get that kind of awkward shot, how the graphics are in this game. They're quite nice.
Okay, well, pQq just taking the advantage now. Getting that first turret is huge because they can just push the wave deeper and make it even harder for Invincible Armada to actually contest the gold miner.
Note also that the minion candy has been on this gold mine for the entire time. There's also one in Malo's inventory right now, so he's waiting to set it up again just to make 100% sure that they take control of that.
Well, Invincible Armada kind of has to make a play right now. They need to get this gold miner. They're going to go for it while they see Druid in lane. It's down to half already, but it's done a lot of damage to Ruin. And here we go, Maloa coming in. Huge amounts of damage from the glaive. Maloa trying to finish this up. He is going to die, but how much more can they get? Trading 1 for 1. But pQq keeping control of the gold mine, and they're going to hunt down Ruin. As soon as that Sonic Zoom is up, boots used, Zoom, death for Ruin.
Yeah. That was just, I don't know, kind of a desperate attempt at getting the gold mine. It had the minion candy on it. The other 2 members of pQq were right there watching them take it. Druid and Rain both have weapon infusions, whereas Wine didn't even use his due to the nature of the fight when they were so far behind. Thankfully, they were able to sneak out 1 kill because Maloa got a little bit too far forward looking for those kills, but after all, definitely not the best trade here for Invincible Armada.
Well, what else were they going to do? I mean, they had to try and contest that gold mine, otherwise they fall behind by another 1,200 gold. And they saw Druid in lane, so they thought maybe we can just sneak it right here. But now that gold lead getting really large in favor of pQq. And looking to continue getting that minion candy down, and pQq just playing a very conservative snowball here, trying to expand their lead without over-pressing into the enemy jungle. pQq just controlling the lane wave and the gold miner and just waiting it out.
That's exactly what they want to do. They know the strength of their team, of course. Just kind of this macro play for the late game, allow Druid and Rain to get very farmed up and carry it from there. Looks like pQq looking for a play here.
Now we do see Songho actually matching the CS of Druid, which is in fact exceeding it by just a little bit. It's not something that we see too often, but the big difference, Rain versus Wine, 30 CS. A pretty large gold lead, and now Rain gonna come in again. Songho will be knocked back, they get him, and here comes Druid. There's the Verse of Judgment, and that's going to get enough damage down. Wine trying to take out Druid, but it's just not enough with that tension bow yet, and there's the ace, and that's probably going to do it for this one, really, when we look at the size of the gold lead right now and the similarity between these two team compositions.
They're going to be able to get at least 1 turret here. The death timers are still not too far along, still pretty short, only at 11 minutes here, but extending their gold lead now to over 6,000. Let's take a look at that fight.
See right there, I mean, Songho just mispositions and gets knocked right in, and there's nothing Wine can really do. He finds himself on the outside, gets a stun against the wall.
Oh boy, and Ruin actually went for a gauntlet way too late in that fight. He tried to use it to escape, but died as he was mid-jump, so the cooldown actually went down, and now he has to wait 60 seconds before he can use that again.
Ugh, not a good situation for sure. And we see Druid now getting that Shatterglass in another fight, so Rain gonna get a nice cleave off. A lot of damage coming through. They're on top of Songho again. Great afterburn straight into the wall. Ruin tries to save him, but that's not going to be enough. They are just going to surround him right here, and that's going to be it. Rain coming through and just deleting him.
Yep, another ace coming in here, and a very easy fight picked up as well. You can kind of see the difference now between Rain and Wine, just in how farmed they are. Rain able to just chunk them down so easily before that fight even really got underway.
pQq finally going to take a minion miner right here after removing every turret except the ones protecting the crystal. So this is the advantage. They were, I think they were quite, usually we see the minion miners go down between 12 and 15 minutes, but they sometimes, you know, when you have that early advantage, you want to press it a little bit harder, but pQq playing a very patient game this time around despite their enormous edge.
Yeah, just waiting it out, as we were saying before, and I think they're going to do the same here as this gold mine gets near completion as well. No reason to push way too far into the enemy base, unless you can maybe get an ace here, but yeah, they're just going to play very passive. They're not going to make any mistakes here in this game.
Okay, well, pQq just falling back once again. May want to wait for the Kraken spawn before they actually decide to deal the coup de grace here. And now Invincible Armada retreating once again. pQq just wants priority over this, and Mallo's going to decide to go in. There's the Agent of Fire. Gauntlet is thrown down, but that's going to be an immediate death for Ruin.
Yeah, and does pQq push here? It looks like they will try, even though Songho and Wine going back getting full health, so I think it'll be pretty hard. They're just going to back off now.
Yeah, well, there's not much to say, is there, Valdez? I mean, it should be a pretty clean victory here for pQq.
Yeah, these guys are just so smart in terms of how they play this game.
Yeah, basically all they need to do right now, take this minion mine, push the wave, take the other minion mine, get a spawn Kraken during animation. We still are on patch 1.7, so pretty easy to get that Kraken right at 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's actually one thing we forgot to mention. It's going to be 1.7 for the entire day. So no 1.8, no Sky, no buffed up Rona, nothing like that.
No nerfed Ringo.
Yeah.
So, pQq is going to move this way. Malloa can get in there, and he's only level 8. He has to be a little bit careful. He's going to get stunned to the wall, but Druid is just running rampant right now. They actually just CC'd a very interesting target, but they are going to pick up one. Malloa now on the run. There is no glaive here. They caught him 2v3. So without rain there, that'll be 2 for none. However, spawn timer still low enough that pQq will be back in time for the Kraken, so there's not really a lot of recourse here.
Kind of an awkward time for them to take that fight because, yeah, you mentioned the Kraken, the gold mine had just completed, so there's no objectives for them to get. They just go back and buy.
Well, at least they got something, though, and from pQq's perspective, trying to take the second minion mine as they're going to force Rain to after burn out. Trying to take the minion mine while pushing the wave. A little bit greedy. Do one, then the other. Without that vision, you can't really make plays like this. Kraken will spawn, but no attempt to take it during that animation. And now, the wave pushing from pQq is beginning. Meanwhile, Invincible Armada trying to get their minion mine back. Good pay for it, though. Here comes Rain, going to shove Wine out. They've got him right behind the minion mine right now. Rain a little bit of alone, but his gauntlet will be thrown. However, it's not going to do much. However, Druid is going to go down. And a little bit of a janky engage right there means that pQq going to have some issues. Verse of Judgment will get triggered, does some damage, but Malloa will fall. Rain trying to avoid the ace right here. And there's Wine coming through the wall with that afterburn. Everybody has the jet engines on their axes right now.
And Rain should be able to go down here. He's going to get another afterburn, but not enough energy.
And the question is, will it be the ace? And it will be by a second.
By a second, and also Songho did go down, so they're going to try to push this turret. It's I'm not sure if they're actually going to be able to get this. Vox is coming back very, very fast. He's way, way farmed.
Yeah, has the broken myth now. You see Ruin having to back off there very quickly, using that Vanguard to escape to Wine. And now pQq nearly back up. They have to make sure that they're in the right position on this map because they're making a lot of mistakes in the late game.
Yeah. Well, they should be able to get this Kraken here. They got, well, Wine was just very, very low after trying to go for that turret. I'm not sure if that was the best choice after all because this Kraken going to be pushing very hard. There's only 2 turrets left over.
So maybe the final push here for pQq. They will just check out the jungle, take a few more camps on their way over into the lane, and should just run interference. And there's not the greatest heroes to kind of deal with this Kraken right now. See if pQq, they're just going to protect it. They're not going to try and take the enemy minion mine. Now here comes Wine. He's going to find Ruin. Malloa already out front. And Invincible Armada trying to get it. There's the gauntlet already thrown down. Rain gets stunned right there. Malloa uses that Verse of Judgment. He does not get any stuns thanks to the reflex block. And here we go again. Wine on the outside. Malloa trying to deal damage, but with Druid already dead, pQq going to lose this fight. But the Kraken's in the base right now. It'll be a question of how fast they can kill this thing.
I think this Kraken should be able to get 1 turret. So after all, it's not going to be quite worth it, but at the same time, they are pushing this base very, very hard.
Yeah, that's going to put, I mean, basically, if there's any damage, even if one member of Invincible Armada goes down right now, they will have enough to take out this base. They can just easily tank it. But that was a great Crucible use right there in the last fight to prevent 2 stuns on Invincible Armada from the Adagio ult.
Oh yeah, that was very, very nice. And once again, I think Druid, you know, he's hit this state where he's unbelievably farmed and he does a immense amount of damage, but he's just being too far forward at many different times in these team fights. And here again, he gets caught out.
Yeah, gets caught out once again. And when we talk about this was Invincible Armada's problem in their last best of 3 against Hunters, but this time pQq very uncoordinated in this late game, and Invincible Armada making a bit of a comeback here.
Yeah.
Maloa trying to do what he can, but he just doesn't have the damage. Rain getting some good cleaves off right there, but here they come. And there's a stun into the turret during its explosion animation. Nice job, Maloa trying to get some stuns right here. Does get 2, but that doesn't stop him from dying. And Invincible Armada doing a great job of playing as a team and using the strength of the gauntlet in the late game.
Look at the gold difference now. It's barely even there. They don't even have over 1K on Invincible Armada. A bunch of, you know, I think pretty careless mistakes coming into this late game from pQq. Maybe they were saying the same thing we were saying. There's not really a way we can lose this game. Let's just, you know, I think they just got way too overconfident, and they're beginning to make a lot of mistakes here, and Invincible Armada is right back into this game.
Well, Invincible Armada, we know them for playing the better macro game, and they've done a good job of controlling that minion mine and punishing the mistakes from pQq, who did get split up. Got a little bit greedy when it came to controlling objectives to make a final push here in the late game, and they've managed to hunt down Druid. Rain has the breaking point now, though. That is a huge item for him to pick up right now. Could do a lot of damage in an extended team fight, and considering that Invincible Armada has been mostly focusing Druid, that's going to give Rain a lot of time to get those stacks.
Yeah. It's very true. I mean, we can take another look at the Rain versus Wine farm so far. Wine kind of going more support, I suppose, here, but not really having the same amount of damaging items. They're really relying on Sanghu, who's playing a fantastic game this game, by the way. He's really landing all those ults. He's in the back, just doing a ton of damage.
Here we go. Gauntlet over the wall, and they're going to get on Druid once again. Rain here on the outside. He's got Sangho in his sights, has to run back, is stunned straight into the Gauntlet. Now Ruin coming through. Druid still alive this time, lines up a great ult from the Vox, and that's going to be an ace. What a beautiful Vox ult coming through right at the end.
Unbelievable play from Druid once again. This is what we know from pQq. They are able to get the big ace, and I think they should be able to end the game.
Yeah, they definitely will be able to. They're just running. They don't care about these minion waves. They can tank out that last turret for 1 shot and then move forward from there. They are just going to take out what they can in the meantime. And here we go. There's 1 down. There's the last turret down, and they're going to get the Vein Crystal very easily. pQq manages to close it. It was a bit sloppy, but they make it work in the end. Thanks to Druid once again.
Yep. Thank you, Druid, for supplying that win.